Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you from everywhere around the world. My name is Veiah Hensley, and I'm here today with our very amazing Mariana, right? I
Hi,
love that
hi.
name. And she's a speaker, she's an interviewer too, and she's an author. And there's so much more about her. Now, I want to introduce to you so she can start telling you who she is. Welcome, Mariana.
Hi, hi.
How are you today?
I'm doing fine. Had a sick kid, but I'm okay.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it was. I took her to a meeting today, first time in my life, so it was very interesting.
Um, so what are the age range of your
The
children?
youngest is 1.5, and the oldest is 7, and then 4 in between. The three
And
kids.
you look fabulous. How did you do that?
Well, I have no clue. Just being myself.
That's amazing. Well, this is your time to tell us how you made it work perfectly. So, um, to start, what have you been busy these days?
Uh, well, I'm working on my YouTube channel currently.
Mm-hmm.
And on my book. So there are two areas I'm working on at the moment. I have a very special story that God gave me, and that story I'm working on to write in a book. And the YouTube channel is God Exists Today, and it's a channel about stories of miracles, hope, and true freedom to show that God is amazing. Uh,
Yes.
yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's nice because I personally have a miracle as well. I might be your guest too, huh?
Yes, absolutely. You're on
So,
my list.
so you have a, do you like interview people about miracles, right? Is that what your channel is?
Yeah, it's indeed about miracles, and people have different stories. It's
Mhm.
especially stories of hope. Sometimes it's a miracle, and the other time it's just how they came through a situation and got out in a good way. So it
Mhm.
depends on the person I have in front of me. And I'm just started also. So it's all very new and very interesting, very cool. Still learning to
Mhm.
edit and stuff to better all that all that. So it's very interesting process at the moment. Learning, learning,
Yes.
learning.
Well, we gotta start somewhere, you know?
Yeah.
Always start somewhere. So it's good to at least get started.
Yeah.
Um, you can't go anywhere if you don't get started, right?
No.
So you gotta start somewhere, and I'm really impressed by having kids, and yet you look so fabulous. I
It's
can't.
just the makeup. Doesn't you you should have seen
So,
me with the sick kids in
mm,
my arms. Then I don't look pretty.
so, would you like to share your miracle right now?
Yeah.
So, hoping that your story can help someone who may be going through some tough times. And a miracle is always a story that we want to hear because it gives you that sense of hope that
Mhm.
life is always, you know, hopeful, that no matter how hard life can be, there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. So I would love to hear your story.
Yeah.
Take it
Well,
away.
it's a pretty long story, but I will keep it decent.
Oh, I love, I tell
Depends on the
you,
details.
I tell you, miracle stories, I crave for them because, like I said, it's a way of knowing that there is always hope. And a lot of times, there's people who tend to think, "Oh, I'm hopeless. There's nothing for me." But that's why miracle exists, to make you
To
see
get
that, to
over.
make us to see, all of us, not just me, you, but for all of us to see that no matter how bad the situation is, there is always hope. And
Yeah.
so please don't lose hope. And the Mariana's story will make it, confirm it, that there is always hope. Go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it has started in around 2018. And I've always been a Christian, so I come from Christian parents, and I've always been in the church, and that was an okay place for me to be. I always believed that there was a God, and so that was, well, it was ordinary for me to go to the church. But in 2018, I got my second child, Hannah, and she was a very bad sleeper. And during close after the birth, I was really in a bad state of mind, bad state of my body. After pregnancy, I had a lot of hurting in my back and my the entire area here. And at one point, I just couldn't sit. I couldn't lie down without any pain and discomfort. And in that moment, my husband went to a conference. I always love conferences because it's inspiring, and especially Christian conferences, it has always been my thing. And but my husband went because I had to stay at home with the little one, and then he came back all all in fire. He was really enthusiastic. He said, well, they were talking about miracles and stuff, and we don't have that in our church and the surrounding. We just haven't heard much about miracles. I have always believed in it, but never experienced it like big miracles or stuff. So there was a guy that was he told about that was talking about miracles and miracles that happened in his life by praying, and then people stood up out of wheelchairs, cancers disappeared, like big things, also small things, but the big things I remember, of course, because they are very impressive. But in that time, when my husband came back, he told about it, and he said, I'm going to pray for you. I was so hurting here. And he started praying for me. And well, at first it was like, do you feel something? Does it change anything? Like, you're curious, all right, if something might happen. And then I didn't feel anything. Nothing happened. So it was like, no, sorry. I hope it will happen, but I don't feel anything different yet. So it was quite interesting. So he prayed again and again and again, and so many times. And it was very interesting because at one point something snapped in me. And it was like, I am so angry at God. I realized that I had such an anger towards God. And I really had to let go of that anger. And so my husband prayed of it. I confessed my anger because I have dyslexia diagnosed, ADD diagnosed. I've always felt like left out, not fitting in at all. And because of that, I had very low self-esteem. I was like a nobody. I didn't matter at all. And so that low self-esteem has led me to pull back and lose joy and hope and all this stuff. So I was in a, well, kind of stuck and not really happy way at that period of time. And well, my husband prayed, the anger left me, and well, the relationship was like repaired between God and me. So because of that, and in that same time, my back also wasn't painful anymore. I was like, in the next day, I could stand up and could walk decently, could lay down, could sit up again. And so that was, the hurt was like from a 9 till a 3 or something. So it was a really big reduction of pain. So that was the first miracle. And but in the time that followed, my kid was still very bad sleeper, and in that time I have been praying a lot at night, because what do you do with a child in your arm? You have to stay awake, because otherwise it's dangerous.
Yeah.
And well, then shortly after, I realized that I actually just didn't understand what was happening at the cross. Like literally, I was sitting in the church and I was looking at the cross, and I was just realizing, what is that man doing there? Why is that cross even there? What does it mean? I didn't grasp anything of it. So I said, Lord, I want to follow you, but I don't know you. So, well, I left it there and I went on like normal. But shortly after, something miraculous happened, and there, the best way to describe it, it was like I was walking under an open heaven, and that was like, there was several things going on. Like I was completely freed of all my sorrows, my burdens. It was completely gone.
Oh, wow.
If you want to know freedom, it's like really the freest possible. I think it was really open heaven feeling on me, zeg maar. It's like that. I mix Dutch in it sometimes, zeg maar. But that happened, and I could also look with so much joy and love towards other people. So I could step into a bus and just look at people and just have so many love. I wanted to hug them. I wanted to give them kisses. I gifts. I wanted to really love on them in a good way, like not the sexual, just a good way.
I was gonna say that. Like, oh, be careful.
Yeah. And like what you have with a child, I always compare it with a child. If a child is born, you love them so deeply, and I had to grow into that love as a mother. But when you have your child in your arm, you are just wanted to grasp it, to hold it, to keep it even tighter if possible, kiss them, snuggle with them, all that stuff. And that love, that was like small in comparison what I had that time. So it is so much more beyond what we are feeling for our kids even. And we feel a lot for our kids. So it's so amazing how big a love God has.
Yes,
so
yes.
That was very, yeah, it was a very short period of time. And I also couldn't pass any beggar on the street. I had to give them something, either to talk with them, give them bread, or even a little bit of money, because I couldn't leave them, because that's the heart of Christ that was truly in my at that moment. And looking back, I also have like looked through the eyes of Jesus with his eyes to the world, and well, then the world was amazing. It's really an amazing place. And if we should look all through the eyes of Christ, it would be such a better place, because there would be no hurting, no judgment, no stagnation, no delays, and no trouble at all, even. Because you would talk about it and it will be just fine, because you love each other. Yeah.
Yes.
So that was, yeah.
Go ahead.
That was the part where the beauty happened. And then because I had like an open heaven, they say in the Bible, if the house has been cleaned, 7 demons come back.
Right.
And it's like a very I had the same. So first it was all wiped clean. It was so clear, such a clarity in my mind, in everything in my house. My house was decent and cleansed and no garbage around, and no mess it was in that time. But then the opposite happened. So I went from completely free to completely in bondage. And I know now that I have had like delusions. At that time, you couldn't say I had delusions. No, I had not. Absolutely not. But I had. And looking back, at that moment, I wasn't really receptive for feedback. But I saw like signs in absolutely everything, and it was a really strange time. I took stuff inside of my house because that was God given, and although God gives stuff, absolutely He blesses me with so much stuff from the streets. It's really strange. We find a lot of stuff in the garbage, not like in the cans, but like the big stuff, like furniture on the street. They come and get it here. And so a lot of times I see them lying around and I'm like, oh, that's beautiful on that spot in my house. So selective in a good way. But at that moment, I had it like in a bad way. So I took a lot of stuff inside my house, and the clutter came bigger and bigger. I was almost hoarding stuff. So it was not in a good way. And yeah, it was a really tough time for my husband, I think. Very much, because I wasn't receptive, because everything was from God, but it was not. And the beauty is that at that time I met a woman, and she told me, yes, Jesus is wonderful, but Jesus is peace and Jesus is love. And at that moment I did not have peace. So I was from completely in peace to completely in chaos, complete chaos in my head, in my house, in my life, in every area. And so at that moment she said, you have to close those spiritual doors. Well, I was like, yeah, right. At first, but the chaos was too much. And at that point, when I decided to pray, it was like, okay, Lord, if this is you, I don't want you. So that simple prayer led to a closing of the doors, because it was silent. There was peace back again. And I was back to my old self, but then with the experience of complete freedom and complete no freedom. So that's where my real journey started of, okay, I had that. So there is full freedom and there is full non-freedom. And how can I get to that freedom again? So there the journey of, who is Jesus? What does it all mean? What does the cross mean? How does the Bible talk about what happened in my life? Do other people have miracles like me? I did know nothing. I was born in a church, kind of raised in church. Sorry, but yeah, I had never experienced something like this, and also no people around me. So I really had to research, and now I'm in a lot better state than I was then. Yeah.
Wow, wow. It's interesting because I kind of think that miracles do happen every day. It's
Yeah.
just the way we look at things,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people seem sometimes, I think, because we rationalize things a lot, that we forget there's more than just our mind here. There's,
Mm-hmm.
and so people say, no, it's not a miracle. It's just meant to happen that way.
Yeah.
Well, there's things that you can explain, but there's
Mhm.
also things that it's really hard to explain. Like it
Yeah.
just happened, like what you have where it came to you,
Yeah.
like
It just was there. I cannot say like
right,
a starting point or ending point. It was like it was there.
right.
I can't
Yeah,
even remember the date. It was somewhere around that time. It just was there.
yeah, right. That's why miracles, maybe we put too much emphasis on the word miracle that we lose the ability to understand what a miracle is really,
Mhm.
because there's really no explanation. I can't even say it's a word that you can explain a miracle is, because like it just happens to someone, and without, sometimes we don't even notice it, we don't even see it. And based on my experience, I see things happening now differently. I see, okay, this is happening, okay, fine. But then at the fast forward, then I see, oh, that's what the miracle is. You don't understand it right there because it's still unfolding. But
Yeah.
once it goes the other side, it shows that, oh, okay, now I understand better that this is the miracle that is happening to me, but I did not know then.
Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah, wow, that's really amazing that you can share your miracle. I'm pretty sure there's some people that are thinking, oh, yeah, I've never had a miracle. I don't believe that. I think each of us has or had experienced some kind of miracle.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a big one. It can be a small one, but
Yeah. I also always say there are big miracles and there are small miracles. Small miracles happen every day, and
mhm.
big miracles are there to help you in a certain way to understand certain things better. I mean,
Yeah.
it was really to give me understanding of certain situations, and I didn't have it prior. It really opened my eyes for a lot of stuff
So
related to
your
Christ.
husband's happy now?
Sorry?
Your husband's happy now? You don't have
A
any
lot
pain?
better. But I am still in the process of to the complete freedom.
Mm-hmm.
So the complete freedom, I'm not there yet, but I am more free now than I've
Mm-hmm.
ever been before, unless only those snippet in the time I was completely free was better. But it's the process where I start, because I did not know where I was going to, and now I know, and that's because God showed me the complete freedom. So my current goal for me personally is
Mm-hmm.
going to the complete freedom again.
Wow.
So
Can't wait for that complete freedom.
that's heaven. That's heaven.
Yes. I mean, yeah. Wow. I'm just thinking, like, to get to complete freedom, that's like the ultimate, you know, way of
Yeah,
life where everything is just free, perfect,
yeah.
and nothing more to ask.
Yeah, but what is important for the complete freedom, that the road towards the freedom
Mm-hmm.
is very beautiful and hard and satisfying and struggle, and so it's like easy and complicated at the same time. So it's important to remember the pathway towards there is also important.
Yes. And thank you for sharing that miracle you have. I really love when people, acknowledge or um, share those kind of things, because this is something I have also struggled in the past, where belief, your faith, to believe in a miracle. Some people don't believe in miracles. Some people don't believe in God. And sometimes it does, I feel like challenge, like, but how could you explain this? There's things that it's just hard to explain. But, I think that's our journey towards ultimate freedom with God, of course. So, now that you have shared your story and you're working on your YouTube to gather more miracle stories, what is your goal for this? You know, having this platform, Marianne.
I just started with a few videos, but I want to reach people to understand that God is for real, and that they have a lot of miracles in their lives that they don't even realize they have. And also for the people who are absolutely hopeless, to give them more hope to enjoy life again, because a lot of people are stuck and having trouble with it. And I want healing that only Christ can give. And if it's through the stories, then I'm all in. I just want healing, because I know how much healing I am receiving at the moment, and still I have already received a lot, and still going on in the process of healing old wounds also. And it's so beautiful how God is working, and how we can go step by step by step by step, slowly but surely forward. And people who are stuck, you shouldn't be stuck. You should step like little steps even. If you're stuck, go and pray.
And look for Marianne.
Yeah,
Right?
also. Yeah. On God Exists Today, you will find me.
Uh-huh. So, your book, you mentioned about your book, writing about miracles, right?
Yeah.
And is it done or is it still
Well,
on?
I have a co-authored book with other people, Modern Day Miracles, by ordinary people. And it's from L.S. Kirkpatrick's, and it's online also. And it's on Kindle and available. But you can order it through the co-authors also, and by me also. And so that book is written, but it's co-authored, and it's the short version of my story. And so it's only one chapter, my book, from me in the book. And I'm working on currently a Dutch book, but I will later translate it to English. And that's my story and what I have learned from it. And I've learned like five important steps out of it, what happened in the process. So at first I was praying, and I have to remember them all. Let's see. I sometimes forget them still, because it's so new for me.
Yeah.
So at first there was prayer, and then there was that everyone is precious, and then there was purification. Because I was purified, because the reaction of what happened was that I really didn't want to sin anymore. And I really ditched a lot of stuff at that moment. So there was a cleansing in my heart, in my mind. And then there was the peace that only God can give. And now I'm really going forward in my purpose. So I found my purpose through what God is telling me, and now I am really going the right direction. I'm not stuck anymore. I just know my goal. I know where to go, because God showed me the way. And it's with little steps, and the kids are sick, so then it goes a little slower, but I go forward, because today they're sick and I'm still doing this interview. So step by step, slowly but surely. But
Yes. And
I had to learn a lot of patience. Sorry?
and with God,
Yeah.
nothing is impossible. All
Yeah,
things
and that is my phrase. That's my from Mark 29 verse 23. Yeah, everything is possible who believes. That's my verse.
Mhm. Yes,
Yeah,
I believe in that too. Because I have
yeah.
seen so many things that God made it possible when, I myself did not believe it's possible, and I know a lot of people would think that maybe someone you while watching us here that you might think, oh, nothing is possible for me. I'm just not able to, capable, or
Mhm.
but I want you to know that all things are possible,
Yeah.
especially with God.
Yeah,
When
you will
you,
be surprised.
yes, when you journey with God, all things are possible. Sometimes you may be surprised that it just comes and then, oh, like,
Yeah,
guys, I'm here. This is what you want, and you get it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so I want you to know that because it happened to me. It happened to Marianne. It happened to so many people. And you are not no exception. You yourself is also loved by God. In fact, we are all created in the image and likeness of God. So all things are possible with God. So
Absolutely.
Marianne, yeah, how do people contact you or how do people reach out to you?
Yeah. You can always find my YouTube channel, God Exists Today. Just type my name in and you will find me somewhere. I have LinkedIn, I have Facebook, I have Instagram. So you can find me somewhere. And I also have a link tree because that's easy because it's all combined.
Mm,
So it's linktr.ee/Marianne VP.
right.
Yeah,
So anyway,
but I will give you the link. Yeah,
yes, I will take the link and then I will put it in the description as well. So people who can, you know,
if they're
watch and
interested. Yeah,
at the same time they can reach out to you if they uh, feel that you are the one.
yeah,
Because
the
yeah,
one.
I mean, yes, you are the
If they're
one.
interested to connect, they can, or if they have
Yes, yes,
questions or whatsoever. I
yes.
always say in the YouTube channel, I'm Marianne van Poortvliet. I love to create and I love to learn more about God. So those two things, I'm very creative and painting and stuff, and recently just started. And then the creation of God, everything about it, I want to know more. So it's always interesting to have discussions or talks about God. Love
Yes,
that.
yes. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your uh, time and being here as one of my guests. I really appreciate you, especially it's about miracles. uh, I love miracles. I mean, I could talk over and over again when it comes to miracles because there's too many to share, you know. So anyway, goodbye everyone, and you have any other last words, Mariana, before we end this
Yeah,
interview?
absolutely. If you have any doubt in whatsoever, just ask for it. Pray and don't be afraid to pray, because if you pray, God will answer. Not on your way, not at
Yes.
all, but He will answer. And so expect an answer from Him, because He does it. He shows Himself if you ask for it in a very different way than you expect.
Yes. And sometimes, I want you to know that sometimes when you ask for one, he'll give you 14 times,
Dance.
or he
Yeah.
can give you more than 14 times. So don't
Mhm.
be surprised, okay? All right. So thank you. And I hope to see you again. And for everyone out there, don't lose hope. Remember, all things are possible with God. Bye bye for now.